And great win by San Antonio. They just excuse my French, but they just outworked us in a lot of different ways. Mitch kicked my ass. The rest of the team kicked our ass. We all got our ass kicked today. So you give San Antonio a ton of credit. Julian Champagne, I mean, he was fantastic. He shot the mess out the ball, and he made the shots. It was a little disappointing in our guys because it was almost like at times we didn't respect him. We didn't pick him up in transition, and he gets a wide, we drop back in transition 5 feet inside the three-point line and let him shoot a wide open uncontested three. We take our body off him. We know he's a hot player, and that's what he does. But he just kept getting look after look after look after look after look after look that were wide open. And like I said, you give him a lot of credit because he knocked the shots down. But I was really, really disappointed in the way that we defended him. And he was a guy that we talked about that was a hot player, and we didn't do our job there. I had 40 free throw attempts. I know we fouled late in the game to try to change the game, but we were down almost. They almost doubled us in free throw attempts the whole game. And I don't know. Maybe we weren't aggressive enough. I'm not sure, but it'd be interesting to go back to look at the film to see why we couldn't get to the free throw line, but why they were getting to the free throw line, because it's a huge disadvantage if you're talking about 20 to 40 from the free throw line. And again, you got to take in consideration that some of those fouls at the end of the game, we were fouling to get an opportunity to stop the clock and try to go score. But it's going to be tough if the free throw disparity is that big. I will say this as well. I thought some of our fouls, especially early on, could have been avoided. We talked to our guys about leading with their chest and not with their hands. And, we pick up some silly fouls early just because we want to reach. And next thing you know, they're in the bonus. They're shooting free throws, and you're looking up, and they got 20 free throws to our 5 or our 10 or whatever it is, and we're complaining to the refs. Well, some of those later calls may not be fouls, but for sure we're giving the officials an opportunity to call fouls with our reaching. So we got to do a better job of not reaching. But 40 free throws to a team like this on the road, that's the second thing that's tough to overcome. And then they had 11 offensive rebounds. But man, I don't know how you can convert 11 offensive rebounds into 23 second chance points. So our multiple effort was not good. We stood there, or they got the rebound, and then we didn't fly around after that. And our inability to fly around, and it's hard when you give up an offensive rebound, but our inability to fly around and get the bodies and all that stuff, again, gave them an advantage on the second chance points, with them getting 23 to our 7. And things that we talked about before the game, it's right there. We got to respect Champagne because he's a hot player. You got to keep them off the glass, and then we as a team got to figure out how we can be physical and defend, but defend without fouling. So give them a lot of credit because they went and got the win. San Antonio did. Sorry.
It seems, I think early on you guys shot like 60% from 3, and just couldn't shake them because, again, defense seemed to start slow. Just what are you seeing again with inability, I guess, 130-something points here?
Yeah, the team scores 134 points. It's first of all, it's our physicality. We haven't figured out how to be physical for 48 minutes in the last, I don't know how many games, but doing it without fouling. And we pick up some silly fouls that we have to do a better job of. And I feel everybody understands that, but now we just have to go do it. So our physicality is not good. and we just haven't been able to. I don't know if we're tired or what, but we have not been able to sustain anything defensively for 48 minutes. And we've won a lot of games, and you want to win games, and you feel good about it. But at the end of the day, if we don't figure how to sustain what we're supposed to do on the defense end of the floor for 48 minutes, it's going to be a long year for us, and it's going to eventually catch up with us. So our physicality, our inability to sustain what we're supposed to do on that end of the floor. And then for a while it was our transition defense. Our transition defense wasn't bad tonight, but those areas are really big for us. And we haven't put together 48 minutes of really high level basketball when it comes to those things.
You guys came in here 19-0 when leading after three quarters.
Yeah.
And you guys obviously had Jalen, the best closer. Is there a tendency to just say, we got Jalen, we'll win this no matter what, and maybe let your foot off the pedal a little bit just because you have Jalen, and there's a tendency to just lean back on what he can do?
Well, I think we do that throughout the course of the game. I think we, at times, just think, you know what, we're good. We're going to end up winning this, or we're going to end up outscoring them, and that. It's not the mentality to have. You got to have. There has to be a sense of urgency defensively, like I said, for 48 minutes in terms of trying to do the right thing. Because we can score. I mean, we can score with the best of them. We have Jalen, who's league MVP, or at least right now in the discussion for the league MVP at a very high level. We got 3 or 4 other all-stars when you're talking about OG and Kat and Mikhail and maybe even Josh now. I don't, and we got guys that can shoot the ball. They can go make plays. And so offensively, I didn't think we played great offensively, and we scored 132 points versus a really good defensive team. I just hope that sooner than later our guys collectively want to sustain the right way to play on the defense end of the floor, because we'll figure it out offensively as the game goes along. But when you play the way we play defensively, which is in spurts, you're going to keep giving the team hope. And when you give a team hope in this league, guys are too talented. They're going to find a way, especially versus a good team, and they're a good team. Fox was really good in the fourth.
Cornette was huge in the fourth quarter for them. Is there something like Wemby's out? You put so much attention on Wemby when he's out there. He's out. You kind of exhale a little bit. And you forget there's this another 7'2" guy who comes in and is very good on the offensive glass. Did it feel like there was a little exhale from your team there when Cornette was out there and maybe letting them free a little too much?
No, you would have to ask them. To me, it's kind of how we play throughout the game. It's like if we're up, we're like, okay, well, we're good. And we have 3 or 4 just bad defensive plays like in a row. And it's not that. It's not like their execution is, and I'm not taking anything away from them, but it's not like their execution is great or anything. It's just like, okay, you know what, I'm going to kind of jog through this action, and I'm going to trail this guy that's hot, and then he catches and shoots a wide open 3. Or I'm not going to pull all the way in and tag the roll guy. I'm just going to stay right here. It's stuff like that that is in our control that we don't control, and we do it for stretches throughout the game. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it's the Spurs with a great record like this, or, and again, they're all NBA players and NBA teams, or the Pelicans with a not so great record. We got to be able to, like I said, figure out how to sustain something defensively for 48 minutes with a sense of urgency.
And it's not even halfway through the season, so I'm sure you're not there yet, but is there a point in a season where if something continues, you're like, this is just maybe who we are, and it's not, obviously you hope to try to fix it, but obviously once there's enough examples of something, I'm sure you have to take it with the grain of salt or whatever.
I don't think it's who we are, because I think I truly believe that the guys, they care and they want to try to do the right thing, we just haven't done it. We got to go do it, you know. And sometimes when you win games, it's human nature to just think that it's going to happen, you know, and it's subconscious when that does occur, and you know, so maybe that's the case. I don't know, but what I do know is we have to sustain whatever we're trying to do defensively for 48 minutes and not look back on a game and say, man, if we would have been a little bit more physical here, a little bit smarter here, and played with a sense of urgency for 48 minutes defensively, we had a great chance to win. But I can't say that.
Yeah.
You know.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you.